think we can find one.
We won't pay less
That's
volunteers.
kind of funny.
Ted would just go ahead and pay it.
You see it.
Dude, what? Just $1,000 and we'll explain it to you.
McKenna, is Julie really sick tonight?
I think that sounds fine.
That sounds fine.
Well, the idea.
Yeah,
you know
because
that.
it's something we could incorporate with the downtown, with another event. We'd have to throw another event in there
I mean,
somehow.
like the food
Well, here's what I'm
trucks,
thinking, okay.
businesses, like it.
Now, I'm thinking, okay, shredding is about cleaning out, okay?
Are we
So
live?
what about like rummage sale, or it's about cleanup? So what do you shred, right, to get rid
See
of?
when we go live. I've already hit it, but
Downtown
it takes a
signage
few,
sale.
Okay.
about a minute or
Well,
so.
that's what I'm thinking, so I
Normally
think
just
it's
takes
gotta
about
be
a
more
minute.
than just shredding
Yeah,
people.
it's gotta be something.
It's gotta have a gimmick.
Okay, but anyway, I got all the information.
Okay,
Good evening, it's about 7:30, give or take a minute or two. Time to call the regular meeting of the Washington Courthouse City Council to order. First meeting of the new decade, and the next time we do this, I'll be 87, so I won't be here.
The new decade. That's a good one.
We'll start with the invocation by Mr. Hawk, and Ms. Hernandez will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Lord, I thank you so much for the privilege of being in a free country. I thank you that we can make our own decisions in the town and that we can have representatives to help us. And I just pray, Father, that you would help us tonight to do wisely everything that is put before us and that we may take good care of the city. And I thank you, Father, for all those who work in the city and help us function. May I ask this in your name? Amen.
Amen.
please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both. Roll call, please.
Blair,
Here.
Hawk,
Here.
Hernandez,
Here,
Johnson,
Here.
Lynch,
Here.
Schultz,
Here.
Chrisman.
Here. Next is approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting held December 23rd, 2019. Any changes, questions, comments? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve these minutes.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Blair,
I was not a council member at that meeting, so I either abstained, abstain.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes,
Johnson,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes. Next is the approval of minutes of the council reorganizational meeting held January 2nd, 2020.
I'll make a motion to approve them, Mr. Chairman.
Second?
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Blair,
I will enter yes with something I want to enter into the public record, that the process of electing the chairman and vice chairman of city council be revisited and discussed by the full council before the next election is held in 2022. And the reason, in our last election, there were two persons nominated and second. Neither person expressed their desire to withdraw their name from consideration. However, only one person was voted on. I can understand that if only one person is accepting the nomination, then that person only would be considered for the position after a vote by members. Each nominated person should have been asked if they wish to be considered for the position of chairman. This was not done. If there are two or more persons considered for the particular position and they are willing to be considered, then it seems as though when the roll is called to vote, the voting members should call out the name of the person they are voting in favor of or go to a secret ballot. The current way of voting yes or no in an open forum on a particular candidate could be divisive and create cliques within the body. I wanted to enter that into the record. Thank you for your consideration. Councilman Jim Blair.
Mr. Lynch and Mr. Hawk brought that to my attention before that, and I talked with our law director. And I got the impression, and Joe may remember, that he's kind of going by state law, isn't he?
Well, the process is not particularly well fleshed out. If we want to look at how we do that, we certainly can. Now, the question has arisen before about the secret ballot issue, and we don't see a way that the election cannot be wholly public in the sense of the way that you choose to vote yea or nay on a candidate. But we can look at the process. One point of order, your vote, Mr. Blair, is on the minutes, if you're accepting the minutes or not. Certainly, we'll record the statement in the next set of council minutes. But the question that you're voting on is, do you think that the minutes are an accurate representation of what happened?
That might be a good subject for you to talk to Mr. Pitstick about. I don't see a need for having the whole council go to it, but if everybody wants to, it's fine with me.
Well, who sets up the rules, the way that this whole thing is conducted?
Mark Pitstick's mine, isn't it?
He does?
Well,
We've always done it that way. I've been here 25 years.
Mark is the presiding officer until a new chairperson is elected. So if you have a question or concern about how he chose to preside over that point in the meeting until the chairperson was elected, you'd talk with Mark and we can set up an appointment for you.
Okay, but is there rules? You kind of said it's ambiguous the way that the thing is conducted.
Jim, I believe that there is, but I'd have to go back and look. Sitting here off the top of my head, I can't really think where that is.
Okay, yeah, I can talk to Mark. I mean, I've been reading up on Robert's Rules and Order, and the way it was done was really not, we don't go by that, but still, it just seems, well, anyway, I won't belabor the issue, but I just don't feel like it is a proper representation of the way it should be conducted. And I just would just like, that's why I put the motion in, is for council to discuss it further between now and 2022.
Okay, Kelly, go ahead with your roll call, please.
So, thank you. Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
and Chrisman.
Yes. Moving into the business session, Mr. Denon, any communications?
None.
Thank you. No council committee meetings, at least I didn't. Reports of city officials, Mr. Denon, city manager.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That thing's big. Tony Anderson asked that I bring up to you folks tonight that he drove down Washington Avenue the first time the other day, and he just wanted to express how exceptionally pleased he was with that and what an excellent project he thought that was. I also talked with Sheriff Stanforth the other day, and the jail is at a point where you can tell where things are going to be, and he inquired if we would like, if council would like to set up a date and time where we join him out there, and he explains the construction to date and how that jail's going to function.
Yeah, I would be.
Interested? Not
Sounds like a
interested?
great idea.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reserve raw water. The cool weather drought appears to be over and done with. Flow in Paint Creek is extremely strong, and we have gained, about 2.5 feet in those two reservoirs. So by that second meeting in January, the minor concern that I have, I think that you can downgrade further as to not an issue at all. That flow in the creek looks like it will continue for some time. We're pumping out of the creek and also utilizing 2 of the wells. So we are extremely pleased with that situation and how it has improved. Red Mile, Rod will shortly be issuing stop work orders to several houses under construction out there. Earlier, he had some conversations with the company. We haven't been satisfied with events. So he'll issue a stop work order. Now, more than likely, Rod will tell them if they want to do anything to enclose it to the weather, that they'll be allowed to do that. So you don't have any degradation of any property there. But shortly, he'll be issuing some stop work orders out there. The local economy continues to show strength, and in the near future, I believe that a private enterprise in the community will have a very positive announcement that we'll all be very happy with. But until that private entity chooses to talk about its business, I'm not going to. Mr. Blair later in the month will be taking him on some department tours and having him out and about a little bit. And we always enjoy that process at the beginning of the year. And you need to remember to wear comfortable shoes for those days because we do quite a bit of walking. Also, just a reminder, your W-2s, we put those with your last council packet in December, which I think that we're the only organization in Fayette County that issues W-2s at the end of December because we want to get them done. So when you go to do your taxes and you think that we haven't given it to you, we have. If you can't find it, it's not a big deal. Just call us and we'll print you out another one. But please remember that you got that, and hopefully you put it someplace safe already. New software at the police department. Will be starting training with it, and we'll be very pleased with that, and that will increase our ability to exchange information astronomically with the sheriff's office. Because those databases will be linked together, and we'll be very pleased, and that will make the operation of the 2 departments much smoother. Wes Pickering and Chris, I want to say thank you. They are the 2 young gentlemen that provided 10 gift bags to the police department right before the holidays, and I thought that was a wonderful event. Also, the police department and officers from the sheriff's department really, on the police side, Officer Warnick was very helpful with this. They did Shop with a Cop, which is something that I've always been enormously pleased and proud of every year, and really shows the willingness of the police department to engage in the community, not only in a law enforcement role, but in a very friendly, we're there to be part of the community of Washington Courthouse. Also, now it's grown. Originally, it started out as No Shave November, where people in the police department would pay to have facial hair. Now they basically pay all year long. And what they do with that money, they use it for scholarships. They'll use it for around the holidays for deserving families that are having some difficulties. But that is something that it grew, and we've been very pleased with it. Now, occasionally I get asked, why doesn't the fire department do that? And the fire department can't because the mask has to fit around the face. So you can't have facial hair like I do at the moment. But just enormously proud of those folks over there. Brian continues to do well. He had some shoulder surgery recently and is recovering well. We're very pleased with that. And the activity in the police department has been wonderful. And the fire department crowd, that has been very pleasant, and they have been also enormously effective lately. So we're just trucking along. And we really look forward to 2020 being a great year.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Denham?
What's it cost to have the right to have facial hair?
I don't remember.
We pay $100 in the month of October for each individual.
Is that good for all year?
Yes.
Oh.
This year, I believe it was $2,200 that it ended up. Some of the guys that don't even that continue to shave, they go ahead and partake. We've got 3 of them that are in the military still, so they don't shave for 3 weeks and then they shave for a week. But it raises the money and we do good things with it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Director of Finance, do you have a report?
I have no report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. City Attorney still on vacation. Gary's our new radio representative. Gary, you want to introduce yourself to the public here? He's from
Yeah, Gary
Circleville.
Letter from Circleville, lifelong resident there. Just before the holidays, joined CHO, but I was with KKJ and Shoal Coffee through much of the 90s and into the 2000s. I was out for a while, but got the itch, and I'm back in radio, so pleased to be here.
We welcome you. We'll enjoy it. Moving on to local residents and taxpayers. Dr. Lee Schrader is up.
Thank you very much. About 3 years ago, a little more than that, let me first introduce, this is Brad Adams. He is our Chief Humane Agent and Outreach Coordinator. About 3 years ago, this body gave the Fayette County Humane Society a 99-year lease on 3 acres on Highway 41 near the new water tower. And again, I want to thank you so very much for that. You may know that right now we are located in an office building. Office buildings are built for people, not for animals. Despite that, we have been able to do amazing things. In 2019, we touched more than 3,000 animals. We found homes for 1,225 animals, including a chicken, a rat, a turtle, and a horse. We did almost 2,000 surgeries. We did over 500 trap-neuter returns, which is probably why this is taking care of the community cats, which is probably why you are getting very few complaints about community cats. And a couple years ago, we became regional. The amazing thing is that our service area covers Highland, Ross, Clinton, and Fayette County. We are the smallest county by population in those 4. And we have more resources and do more by far than any of those counties. We contract with Ross County to do their humane law enforcement, and together our humane agents investigated over 500 possible cases of abuse and neglect in 2019 in Ross and in Fayette County. So, getting back to the 3 acres, this is our dream. This is our new animal care and adoption center. So right now, living in an office building, there's a lot of things we have to do to try to adapt that to work for animals and keep them healthy. This is a little over 7,000 square feet. We are going to have room for about 70 cats and kittens. We will have room for between 14 and 20 dogs, depending on their size. We will have a large education room, so we will be able to bring in children and adults for educational programs. We're going to have a large surgical facility. So you know how important spay-neuter is for overpopulation control. We are spaying and neutering animals all over southern Ohio. Another thing that I'm very proud of is that we are going to have a small medical clinic. Access to veterinary care is a huge problem all over the country, and it's a huge problem here. We are going to offer basic medical care and spay and neuter for income qualifying people. We do that now, but we don't have the facilities to do as much as we want to. People will be able to come into our clinic and take care of their animals. We do not want to see animals that are suffering, and therefore their owners are suffering, because they cannot afford basic medical care. We can take care of fleas, we can take care of ears, we can spay and neuter, we can do all of that. We're not taking clients away from veterinarians. There's been very good studies on this. It's a different demographic that is going to come to us. But we are here to support the welfare of animals and also of the people who love them. So This building, I want to show you what we're doing. Our estimate is about 1.5 million. We're about a third of the way there. This will be a shining star of animal welfare in rural southern Ohio. It will be a destination for people who care about animals. People will be coming to Fayette County to have their animals spayed and neutered, to adopt. We pull people from all over. We pull people to adopt from surrounding states, the East Coast, everywhere. People see our animals online and they want to come get them. People will come here from all over our area and states. And it will be something that Fayette County can be very, very proud of. Thank you. You have any questions for me?
I might mention, I appreciate that. My wife and I just adopted a dog from the Ross County,
Super.
and they were telling us of the good relationship that they have with Fayette County.
Right.
So I commend you on what you're doing and wish you the best success.
Thank you.
We love our dog.
That's wonderful. Ross County, by the way, only is able to take care of dogs. So we also handle many, many cats from Ross County. We're working very hard to eliminate homelessness in cats so you don't have so many cats on the street. Thank you.
Thank you, and Brad, and your associates for the good work.
That would be fantastic.
Mr.
Very
Chrisman,
nice.
can I add something? I just want to thank Dr. Schrader and Brad for the work that they do at the Humane Society. And I can't stress enough how well that works now. And it's just been a pleasure over the years.
Yes, thank you very much. Page 2, legislation previously introduced, none. New legislation in writing, resolution number R 2020, first reading.
I move that we place resolution number R1 2020 on first reading.
Second.
Thank you, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes.
Resolution number R1-2020, a resolution expressing to Mr. Harry Wright the appreciation of City Council and the administration of the City of Washington Courthouse for Mr. Wright's service to our community.
Thank you. Looks like miscellaneous is next. I want to start with Ms. Hernandez. I think I did the last time. Since Mr. Blair knew I didn't want to put him on the spot first up.
I got
Let
my
him get his feet wet.
I appreciate that.
Okay. Of course, you've been to enough meetings to know what we're doing anyway. You're right.
Well, McKenna's here tonight, so I'm gonna say McKenna and Kara Bruni, they took their new positions with Main Street Fayette effective. Tonight at our meeting, we elected our board, so we'll be electing our officers, but we have a whole calendar of events again. So I think we're gonna be off and running at a very fast pace. So, you know, I always preach that please support us in the downtown, shop local. It's a big deal, and I think we've all seen a huge change in the last 2 years. And with Chelsea, I think she would agree that there's gonna be a lot of more changes coming. So, very excited. And I think that's it. Thanks to you guys, you know I love you, the Humane Society. I'm very proud that you guys are part of our community, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Well, I'm really excited about 2020. I think that there's a lot of things that, you know, we can really do as a city, you know, moving forward. I think that they're all very possible. Some of which, you know, definitely what we've done in the past and leading up to now, and that's important, and especially as we look into the future. I think that programs such as the No Shave, maybe not just November, but all year, it's very cool too. I'm a fan of the bearded look, if you don't know. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I also want to, you know, thank Dr. Schrader and Brad for coming in and showing us that and telling us that. I think it's great, not necessarily meaning to use an animal pun, but I think it's great whenever we're the head and not the tail of things in this area. You know, especially we don't have a lot of the things that other places have in terms of resources in order to be the head and to be the leader. And it's really cool when we are. So thank you so much for all of the hard work that both of you put in to do that. And yeah, so that's all, Mr. Chairman. I look forward to a great year.
Thank you. Mr. Shields.
You know, also, I want to thank you, because that looks like a great facility you guys are going to put out there. That's fantastic, you know, for our community and the communities around here. I mean, that is really going to be quite a thing to see. So, pardon me.
Get your checkbook out.
Get my checkbook. He said, "Get my checkbook out."
I second that.
Good point. See, there's a lady twerking towards it. Fantastic. No, it's been a great thing. So we're all looking forward to that. It's another thing of moving Washington Courthouse in Fayette County forward is how I look at things. When I look at, like the meeting we were at tonight, Chelsea and Joe and Kendra and McKenna and myself, and we were all at a meeting tonight and for the downtown Main Street, Fayette. And so I'm telling you, it's something that moves the city forward. It's things that keep us positive and keeps the town moving in the right direction. And what you guys are doing is just part of that. So, and thank you, Chelsea, for bringing the pizza. We had some great.
Oh, here, yes, you're welcome.
Downstairs. We had some great pizza after the meeting tonight, and so I said to her, I said, "Why don't you bring some of that to council meeting?" She brought some of it. But anyway, those are things that are looking good for the downtown, for the city, and for the community. So those are things we're looking forward and working together with everybody in 2020. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shields. Mr. Hawk.
Well, I just want to welcome Mr. Blair and Mr. Lynch to my neighborhood here. Sorry to see Mr. Lynch leave.
That's on the tracks.
But also, I set a resolution this year to help my wife more. She's going on a diet, and I'm helping her by eating all the things that might tempt her, and so she can do better at that.
I'm sure she likes that being public record.
Yes.
I'm sure. Every woman wants to know, everybody knows that they're on a diet.
If you really want to do good,
Come on.
tell us how much she weighs.
No, Kelly, you're not
She
recording.
won't tell me, but it's less than me.
Ted, is this your first and last meeting for the new year?
And I just want to close by saying, go Donald. That's all, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lynch.
Follow that one, Dale.
Can you start from this end next time?
Well, he'll be broke in by then.
Okay. First of all, Gary, welcome to our meetings. I've always found it's better to work with the media than work against the media. And so I'm hoping that you have a good experience here with City Council. And if anything we can do to help that experience, we'll be glad to. It takes very humane people to head up a humane society, and I appreciate your coming and sharing with us this evening. Every time we start a new term, it brings back memories of my first time and first meeting on City Council. And like Jim, I had been to many City Council meetings before I took office, but there's still a big difference between sitting out there and sitting up here. And so, Jim, I welcome you to this different experience, because it really is, it's easy to sit out there and second guess. It's not so easy to sit up here and have to make decisions. And so, again, I welcome you, and I understand what it's like, all of us do, to be in their first meeting and their first several meetings. So anyway, welcome. And Mr. Chairman, I have to have a quote.
Good.
And I've used this one sometime in the past, but I think it's great to start the year with. It's by a gentleman named Joshua Marine. And the quote is, "Challenges are what make life interesting, and overcoming them is what makes life meaningful." We always have a lot of challenges in the city. We always will have a lot of challenges in the city. But I've learned in 2019 that we can overcome a lot of them. And I'm hoping that in 2020 we can overcome a lot more, because that's what makes this job meaningful. So having said that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it over to the new kid on the block.
Thank you. Mr. Blair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did have one question. It's very overwhelming. You that have just come on for the first time realize all the committees and everything going on. And I did have a question for Ms. Hernandez as far as the Main Street Fayette. What connection does the city actually have with that? Is it independent of the city?
It's independent, I would say majority of it is independent. Chelsea serves as our ex officio, and she is actually on the board, and she serves as the treasurer. Joe, along with Stephanie with Travel and Tourism, and Julie Bolinder from City Chamber of Commerce, they are all ex officio members. So I see the city as a support. You know, they helped us get our nonprofit. They're providing McKenna with a portion of our support, and Kara also a portion of the support. So in essence, I think it's, but as far as decisions and things, the board makes those decisions. So, the board's made up of building owners, business owners, and Harry Wright was elected tonight as a individual member to the board. So, but would you agree, Joe? Did I pretty much describe that?
Main Street Fayette is a nonprofit private corporation. Now, the nature of what it does involves a high level of cooperation with the city. So, but it has its own board, it makes its own decisions, and you know, you try to make that a complementary relationship to make, in particular, those events come off well.
Yeah. And that's why Julie and Stephanie are on as ex officio members also, because it's important to work with them also, from Travel and Tourism and Chamber.
Good question.
Okay. Thank you. And I do, in closing, I do appreciate each person on council that has helped me, guided me along here. We all have our own individual likes and dislikes and things we can bring to the table. That's what makes America great. But in the long run, I like what Dale says, you know, we can all come together for one common good, and that's for the people of the city. So feel free to pull me aside at any time. You know, hey, we're not going to agree on everything all the time, but I promise you, I'll listen to you if you'll listen to me. And I look forward to the challenges that are coming up. There's a lot going on. I'm not going to go quite as far as Ted yet to make my committal, but anyway, this is nonpartisan now, remember Ted. But I do appreciate everybody that's here, and I look forward to taking the strengths from you and incorporating it into my time here. So feel free to speak with me at any time. I'm available. I've got a website still up and active. Email me, and I'd love to talk to you at any time. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I also would like to welcome Mr. Blair and Gary. Thank Dr. Schrader and Brad for their work and their information tonight. Appreciate it. How about a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Christmas.
Yes.
Four.